Our guests today are stars of both the stage and screen. They are actors with amazing talents and have more awards between them than they can count. They're here today to talk to us about how their lives came together. Please welcome Angela Bassett and Courtney B. Vance. It's great to have you with us both today on Sidewalks.
Thank you. Wonderful to be here.
Good to be here.
So tell us a little bit about what called you both into this business of acting.
That's a big question.
I fell in love with it in high school, going to the theater, seeing Shakespeare, going to the Kennedy Center, seeing James Earl Jones in Steinbeck's Of Mice and Men, and I was just I found it so provocative. I fell in love immediately, went back home, started doing as much of it as I could in my little small hamlet of a town, and continued with it through college. And the response was so positive, and I felt, you know, a sense of power and a way to communicate when I was on stage. And I just continued to study, go on to get a degree in it, undergrad, and then go on to get a master's in it, and landed up where I am today.
And I didn't know what I wanted to do, and was searching, and I had just made a decision I wasn't going to settle for something where I wasn't happy, and I started doing some shows in college just for an opportunity to meet the kids in college, because I was running track and I wasn't meeting anybody. So every show
running away from everyone.
Running away from everyone. So every show I did, I would meet a different set of people, and the second show I did, I got bitten by the bug and has been running away from, or running toward it ever since.
So how did you two first meet?
Well, in graduate school at the Yale School of Drama. I was my third year. He came in to seek some financial aid for his first year there, and our paths, that was the initial crossing of our paths, and what would grow to a wonderful friendship for about 14 years.
Now, you co-wrote a book called Friends, A Love Story. Why did you guys decide to write your memoirs?
We didn't decide. A situation was presented.
I didn't decide. He was at a party and ran to a book agent.
I ran into someone, and they presented it to me, and I slowly presented it to Angela, and she slowly decided that it was a good idea, and we were put together with Harlequin, and a wonderful, wonderful partnership for their first foray into the nonfiction arena, and it's been a wonderful, wonderful, interesting experience.
They were all very persuasive.
Well, you know, putting yourself out there in that way, in such an open way, I think is really admirable and courageous. Just because, you know, your personal lives are your personal lives, and you know, when you're in the spotlight all the time, sometimes you just, you know, that can present,
right.
I think, some challenges. So I commend you for celebrating your love in that way.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
How long did it take for the actual love part of this relationship to come to fruition? Was this like a long-term sort of friendship that turned to love, or was it fast and furious?
It was long-term. It was, we knew each other for 14 years. And then we saw each other at a play, and
then it was fast and furious.
Then it was fast and furious. But we were a slow burn in the beginning. It took a while, but once a situation was presented, we came together rather quickly.
Yeah. Then I knew, you know, within that first week, you know, once our eyes and hearts were open to one another, and we, you know, sort of came back together that second time.
Right.
It was about a good week, and it's like, I don't know, kind of feels right, kind of feels real comfy, kind of feels like home. And then another year before we were married.
How hard is it to sort of stay together, given sort of the profession that you're in? I mean, Hollywood doesn't have a very strong track record of long-term relationships.
And I think, and I know that's true, but that by the same token, there are other professions, the business arena, where two people, if they're in the business world and they're traveling and they have family and children, they are truck drivers, or any profession where you have to be in separate places at different times. It's challenging on the relationship. So the focus for us is not so much our profession, it is the relationship, and relationships are difficult, and the focus has to be each other. My focus as husband is her, and because of that, we can ride through storms.
Right. Now, if you had to pick a role that the other has done, what would be your favorite role that each other has done?
Oh.
The favorite role?
Favorite role?
Mommy.
Oh.
That's my favorite role of hers.
Oh, that's awesome.
Sweet. That's sweet.
Now, what are you going to say to that, Angela?
Oh, you know, you have to say daddy.
Of course.
You don't have to say that. You
You know,
can say
okay,
anything you
I can
want
say
to.
the affair. I can say his character in the
okay.
affair, which is just a heartbreaking story. He likes those kind of stories where they're Shakespearean in that there's no way out. You know the tragic tales. He tends to be drawn to those time and time again.
Drama.
Yeah.
Right.
So the affair, that was one of my
No
favorite
drama.
ones of his.
Now, you have twins together, of course. What advice would you give to them about love as they continue to grow?
Ooh.
Respect each other. Love God first. Love each other.
Love yourself and be discerning. You know, develop that muscle, that discernment muscle, when you're looking for love. You know, when you're looking for love. I
And the
just want
greatest-
good people to come into their lives and deposit, you know, positive things into their spirits and their little beings.
And the greatest thing that we can do is to example, give them a positive example in the way we treat each other. That's probably the greatest thing that they'll ever see, and as they're growing up, is how Daddy treats Mommy and Mommy treats Daddy.
Absolutely.
Right.
As we close, do you have any career advice for those rising young actors out there who are trying to get their big break?
Study, I think. Study to show yourself approved. That's what I did. That's what any profession, anyone in whatever profession, you want to be the best. You want to rise to the top. You want to be among the best. You want to exemplify excellence. So I think study, and that may not be in a traditional school situation. It may or it may not be, but definitely try to get better and seek out opportunities where you can work with others and work it out.
And go for your dream. If whatever your dream is to do it, go and do it, and don't let anyone tell you no. You got to do it.
Thank you so much for being with us today on Sidewalks. It was a pleasure having you both.
Thank you, Miss Cindy.
And best of luck with your book.
Thank you. Great visiting.
Friends, a Love Story.